Alright, so I've got my Game Gear out. This is the McWill modded Game Gear that you guys have seen. And unfortunately, it's got a little issue. Luckily, not with the screen. The screen's fine. The issue is there's no sound at all. Not a buzz, not a crackle. It's completely dead silent out of the speaker and out of the headphone jack. So, of course, I Googled no sound on a Game Gear. And what you're going to get time and time again is, of course, it's the capacitors. Well, this thing's been fully recapped. And it's not the capacitors. So, it's hard to find any information on, like, issues with a Game Gear that aren't the capacitors, because, like, sure, 99% of the time that is the issue. But again, this has been fully recapped. And it's dead silent, the speaker and the headphone jack. And I've tried a few things to get it to work. Initially, the sound would cut in and out, so it was mostly working most of the time. You might play it for 10 minutes and then the sound would cut out, and then you might play it for a few more minutes and it might cut back in again. And it didn't seem to be based on like a loose wire or a loose solder, a solder joint, because it didn't matter if I shook it. When it's cutting in and out, if it was a loose wire or a loose solder joint, you would think that when you shake it, the sound would cut in, shake it again, the sound would cut out. And this seemed completely random, how it would cut in and cut out. And it seems like it's gotten worse over time. It seems like, when I first got this thing, it was working fine, and then the sound started to cut out once in a while. And then it got worse and worse and worse. Now it's mostly cut out almost all the time. But once in a while, if you play it long enough, it will cut in for a little while. So I've tried wiggling these wires here that go from the motherboard to the soundboard, because sometimes that can be a loose connection. But again, it doesn't seem like a loose connection. If the sound's cut in, if the sound's working, I can wiggle this and it won't cut out, and when the sound cuts out, I can wiggle this and it won't come back in. I did try replacing the speaker with one out of a known good working Game Gear. Even though sound wasn't coming out of the headphone jack, I thought it was possible that, maybe the speaker was shorted out and that was shorting out the amplifier circuit. But of course that didn't fix it. So then I tried changing the soundboard. I got the soundboard out of another Game Gear, a fully working Game Gear with working sound, and I swapped this soundboard, and that did nothing. Still dead silent. And so, other than capacitors, this soundboard is going to always be the most likely culprit, and again, didn't fix it. Then I thought maybe it's the power supply. Even though it's turning on and powering on, there's multiple voltages, multiple rails coming out of this power supply. I think there's a 5-volt rail, a 12-volt rail. There might be like a 7-volt or even a minus 5-volt rail. Well, maybe there's a minus 5-volt rail, for example. And, maybe the soundboard's the only thing that uses that. Maybe the amplifier needs a minus 5 or a negative 5-volt rail. And so, just because everything else is working doesn't necessarily mean it's not an issue with the power supply board. So guess what? I swapped the power supply board. So at this point, I've swapped the power supply board, I've swapped the soundboard, and I've swapped the speaker out of another perfectly good working Game Gear, and that hasn't fixed any of it. So I don't know. I think this is the sound chip right here, but I'm not sure. I can't find schematics for the Game Gear. I can't find very good diagnostics, or just like, again, sound's not working. Everyone just says it's the capacitors. So I'm not sure, but I think that's the sound chip. So I don't know. Is the sound chip bad? I hope not. I've tried while it's playing. Again, I've tried wiggling this. I've tried wiggling every single capacitor. No, none of the capacitors are loose. They're all soldered down. So, I don't know. I'm kind of stuck for ideas. Get this. I emailed the guy that did the screen on this, because obviously he knows what he's doing. He's done a lot of repairs on Game Gears and other handhelds, and so I was telling him about my issues, and yeah, he said if I wanted I could send it to him, and he would have a look at it. So I might end up doing that. I'll have to pay for shipping both ways. So I was kind of hoping not to do that. This was kind of a last resort. If any of you have any ideas, if this is the sound chip, what should I be checking? What kind of voltage should it have? Where's the audio coming out of this sound chip? Because maybe I can check to see if there's an audio signal coming out of the sound chip. But I mean, that's got to work its way all the way over to here, because I'm pretty sure, well, yeah, this is where, see, this cable here is going to be bringing power and the audio signal to the audio board. So let me just try. I'm going to put in Sonic the Hedgehog here and put in power. Make sure that volume is up, or at least in the middle somewhere. Turn that on. So again, it's dead silent. And, wiggling this does nothing. And again, for so long it was cutting in, cutting out, cutting in, cutting out. At that point, if it was this, wiggling it would have, you'd get some crackling. It would cut in and out just as you're wiggling it. But it's just dead silent. So I don't know. Maybe the power. Maybe this audio board's not getting power at all. And who knows? Well, again, I've changed the power board, but all that power is going through all of this to get to here. So I guess, what can I check here? What kind of power? Where's the power come in on this? What kind of power should we see at this audio board? But again, it's just dead silent. And I've replaced the power board, the sound board, and the speaker. And again, when it was cutting in and out, wiggling this made no difference. So I really don't think it's this. I've taken this out and I've checked the solder points where this connector connects to the board, and it's solid. So I don't think it's this, but I don't know. Again, worst case, I'm going to send it to the guy that did the screen installation, and I'm sure he can figure it out. So I mean, that's worst case. I'm just going to have to ship it out and wait. But, if you guys have any ideas in the meantime, if you've ever heard of this issue, let me know. Let me know if there's anything I can check. Check the power on this chip. Hopefully the sound chip's not bad. That'd be pretty bad, if this sound chip's bad. Oh, man. That would suck. So, I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, that's it. See you guys later.